So this is a very deep, very painful question, but I think could really open up some deep insights for us. Father Boniface, I love God and want a deeper relationship with Him. However, I find myself having problems getting past trust issues with God. I lost my 7-year-old daughter to cancer several years ago. I watched her suffer heroically, and we prayed often for her healing and pain to subside. She would even offer up her pain for other children in the hospital. She asked me one day why God was not listening to our prayers because she was not getting better and always in pain. It was such a deep, profound question at the time from a 7-year-old that I struggled with it and could not even answer it for her. Still, I find myself asking the same question when it comes to my prayers for strength to overcome certain faults or sins, or to be able to draw closer to Him. Often I feel very much abandoned and frankly alone and unanswered. Sometimes I think to myself that I'm afraid to have His help because of my fear, pain, resentment, anger, or maybe even an anxiety. I mentally understand that death and suffering is a result of sin, but I still can't seem to get deep with God and to make the progress I want. How can we learn to trust God and to make spiritual strides after suffering and loss? To be fair, God has blessed my family and myself immensely, and I'm very grateful. I would just like to break through in my spiritual life, and in this area, it can have a pretty deserting feeling to it.
Well, I'm with you, Jared. It's hard to hear those things. It's not the first time I've heard those things, and it's always moving in my heart. And I really want to assure you, first of all, of my prayers for you, and really appreciate some things. I appreciate you haven't given up. I appreciate your writing in this question. These are signs that faith and hope are already at work in you. And one of the graces of prayer is the gift of perseverance. If you keep praying, you'll keep having the grace to persevere in praying. And the only time we ultimately lose is when we give up. And so I just want to say there's already so much grace at work holding you in place. And I can give you abstracted reasons. I can say things like, well, heaven is infinitely better than earth, and so somebody who has died is not just a loss. An intercessor is better even than somebody who's here. Some parents say, I've already gotten one of my children to God. I've already done my work for one of them. These answers are not for everyone. And these questions can't be answered at an abstract level. So the beautiful thing that'll happen as you stay in it is it will open up for you. The questions that you're asking will open up over time. And maybe it'll be something that I say or that Jared says or something that you read and you'll say, that's it. And it strikes home. And I've seen that happen in countless cases. People will say, I just have so much consolation. Parents who lost a child just after birth, parents who have lost children at a young age, even so many terrible experiences of abuse, of malice in some of these activity, in some of these losses. And I can't give an answer. No answer, I say, reaches. But as I walk with someone and enter into the pain with them, there's a way that we strengthen each other moving forward, and then oftentimes things open up. And sometimes that becomes a mission. I think the founder of Mothers Against Drunk Driving was herself, Mothers Against Drunk Driving was herself someone who lost a child to a drunk driver and made a profound impact. So anyway, just and then if I can say one thing maybe that gives you courage. So Jesus is in it with you. He was in it with your daughter. He suffered everything she suffered, and he never left her. And so her cry, in some sense, was his cry. His cry from the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? That's her cry as well, and is something that the Father certainly hears, and we see the vindication, we see the result of that in the resurrection. So just to know that Jesus is in it with you. Our Lady, who stood at the foot of the cross, is also with you as you stood at the foot of the cross of your own child.